hands. Wow, I did not realize this angle would have me hunching like this. I'm actually gonna kneel. I'm actually gonna sit, guys. Hey, oh, this is better. I like this. Hello, my name is Diva and I'm a Libra, hence a Diva the Libra. I'm super happy that you're here. I was going to focus this video around like bookish spring, like happy getting outside days and like it being sunny and stuff. But it's actually gonna be really dreary this weekend. And so I feel like spend a dreary few like bookish days with me. This first came to mind because there is a festival happening at the library today. I'm excited, curious what they're going to be. There's been a lot of information newsletter in regards to like what's going to be happening, but I've never gone before, and so first timer, I want to see what it's all about. And I'm probably going to be doing some other bookish things, like maybe I might actually return some books to the library or editing some YouTube videos in regards to like some books that I've read recently and also just doing some reading. And so this is kind of, I guess, like a days in my life video, but it's going to be oriented a lot around reading and a lot around, I can't talk. It's going to be oriented a lot around reading and a lot about literature. And so right now I just got dressed. You guys love this. I thrifted this one recently. I am a Vera Bradley lover. I'm sorry. They never went out of style for me. I feel like while I love a trend, I love people collectively coming together to enjoy something. I do think this whole idea of like, what's in style, what's out of style, what's in style, what's out of style, in regards to what people feel like they can wear. Let's all have fun with stuff. Let's all style ourselves differently. This is all to say. I thrifted this Vera Bradley bag recently. I really think it's cutesy and fun. I'm wearing this little sweater and I'm wearing some denim jeans. And I'm in love with these glasses that were gifted to me by Armu. Like, I feel like I now have like glasses that are like each kind of a different frame. I have more circular ones. I have more like thin ones. I have more like now like square ones. And I really love it. The plan right now is to go to this like marketplace cafe because I am desperately craving a bagel. No one tells you about growing up in New Jersey is that left, right, center, wherever you look, you'll be able to find like a good fluffy bagel. That's not true everywhere. Probably if you like look hard enough, but I feel like in the months I've lived here, I have found one place near me that makes like good plain bagels, but I am a cinnamon raisin lover to my core, and they don't make those, or like even blueberry. And so there's this place that I found that they said they make apple cinnamon raisin, and I'm like, I was only looking for cinnamon raisin, but I'm not picky. And that also sounds delicious. So going to go there, then going to go to the festival, and then honestly, we'll see where the rest of the weekend takes us. This jewelry, in love with. This was my favorite purchase from my trip to Portugal because the guy who, I hit myself in the face. The guy who sold it to me was not lying at all. You can wear this in the shower and it does not tarnish, or at least it won't tarnish for like a few years. And I wish I had bought like earrings there because I bought these earrings from, where did I get them from? Marshalls or TJ Maxx? TJ Maxx. And it's probably just the quality. I should have looked, but I was more focused on making sure that they were hypoallergenic because I have had like problems with like the second and third holes in my ears with them like kind of skinning and things like that. So I needed to make sure that they were like the correct metal. But I didn't wear them in the shower. I took them to Puerto Rico and I wore them in the water and I've come back and so now some of them are silver and some of them are gold, but it's kind of a look. I'm actually really in love with it. This actually makes me like, the stacking of jewelry like this makes me want to get more into like funky fancy rings again. I feel like I always buy rings. Why I stopped buying them is because I used to really buy them on a whim and they would never really like cohesively connect like when I wore them, which they don't necessarily need to, but I love like when I see like a stack of rings on hands and I'm like, oh, like that looks really good. Like, where do you guys, I probably like the answer is like thrifting it to be so for real. Where do you guys feel like you get your favorite like rings from? But now I feel like we're getting away from ourselves. So yeah, right. Okay, let's go get our bagel. Hey guys, so actually, I'm not gonna say I lied, but I'm not gonna go to the bagel place first. Actually, I'm gonna go there afterwards. I'm first gonna go to the library festival because just in terms of like the path they were taking us, I was like, we're gonna pass the library anyway first. So I was like, why don't we go here first? And I'm like not like super hungry. I'm like more peckish, so I'm not like, if I was starving, I'd be like, we can take the loop back around, but I'm not. So yeah, I looked back at the email for what is like happening at the library, and they're having like food trucks, they're having author talks, they're having wine tasting. I think they're having like a book drive, and they're also having like a used and new book sale. And so I'm just gonna be looking at what they're having. So let's go. party people, long time no see, even though it's been like no time for you guys at all. It's been a little bit for me. So let's walk through how we got here, because it is the nighttime and you may be wondering, Diva, it felt like not too long ago it was the morning. How did we get here? Okay, to start off with, I feel like I was low-key like, I was not lying, but I was low-key feigning in the morning. Not the morning. I was low-key feigning earlier in the video that it was like the morning. It was not the morning. It was like the early afternoon. It was giving like 1-ish, 1:30-ish. But when it was time to get up, we ran some little errands before we went to the library festival, which I didn't show you guys because they were just like very small. We hop skipped from place to place for like 30 minutes to get like some sanitary things. It was like, I don't necessarily feel like I want to carry you guys along on that. And that's really just an excuse because I forgot my camera in the car each time. But I feel like maybe the heat, the heat is getting to me. Anywho, first to walk back through the day, we went to the library festival. Super cute, super fun. There were a couple of things happening there. There were some author talks. There were some author signings. You were able to hear about their work. So that was really interesting to hear about the different backgrounds and perspectives, especially because they had a lot of Black authors there and a lot of authors of color. Then my mom was like, hey, there is a truck here that's doing like lattes. And I was like, matcha. There was matcha. And so actually I'm getting ahead of myself. Before that, I stopped by the used book sale portion of the festival that they were having, which was, I feel like probably earlier in the day there were a bigger selection of books. Of course, we got there more towards 2 when the festival ended at 3, so we spent like an hour-ish and change there. But there were a couple books there that I recognized that you guys probably also recognized from what I was recording. There was like Paper Towns, a book from the Click series, and so at that point they had more children's and YA and like middle grade browsed, and then from that point that's when I went and got an iced matcha latte. And then my younger sister got a dragon fruit latte, which was very pretty. It was like pink, and then ours were green, so it was giving like wicked. And then my mom also got a matcha latte, and then we passed the DJ and we gave him a big thumbs up because he was really keeping the vibes going. He was a very good DJ. You know, sometimes some of them really struggle with like either transitions or like just kind of keeping like the right mood for the environment and the event. He didn't have a problem with that at all. People were dancing, people were having a good time. And then towards the end, I started speaking to like the event staff, and so we went over to the table where you could kind of like chat with them. And I asked them about like, oh, giving a donation to the library because I had seen like this was the time that you could, not the only time, but if you would like to at this time. And then they said like, oh, and if you also give a donation, you get like a free tote bag. And I was like, what? And so we gave a donation to the library and they gave us a tote bag, which my mom has. Super cute. And then actually, at first I thought you had to pay for this, and so that's why I wasn't really looking at it at first, but then I just went over to inquire because it can never hurt to ask questions. But it's like a book fold vase. I feel like I see these pictures all the time on like Pinterest or like aesthetic Instagram like book pages. Because at first I thought they were selling these books, and then I thought they were giving them away for free. And then it was like, oh no, these are to make the contraption. Not the contraption isn't a good word. At first was tempted to do that in this video, but I think I'm going to wait and do it another time because I do want to spend the time that I feel like it needs to be really pretty, because I probably want to put it like on or like in my bookshelf as part of like, you know, the decoration and the decor. So stay tuned for that. I just thought that was fun because also the other time that I've made something kind of a bookish decoration for my room has also been at the library. Like when I made the book nook for around Halloween, like fall time. So I was like, library, you have my heart. And then after that, there was this like little truck like in the middle of the parking lot we kept passing, and I thought it was just kind of to show off the name of the library because it had it on it. But then people were going inside and I was like, what's going on in there? A woman came over to me, she was like, do you know what's going on there? I was like, I don't know. And so I went up to the truck and the event staffer inside was like, oh, we're making buttons. And I was like, buttons? So I called my family over and we each got to make some buttons you guys saw earlier. I got like the rainbow fish, and then I think I showed this one to you guys. It was like the Live, Laugh, Libby. I thought that was really cute, so I got it. And then the other one was I love my local library. And so all around a good day, because I'm going to put those probably maybe on like my book lover tote bag or another tote bag that I have. And at this point, we had like sucked down our lattes, so it was time to go. At this point, I was getting more hungry than peckish too, and the festival was coming to an end, and so we congratulated the DJ again on a great job. Well done. And people also started clapping too because we were like, woo! And then my younger sister was like doing some like chalk coloring on the floor, and so that's who you saw wrote like Diva was here. And so then after that we went over to the cafe like marketplace where I was looking to see like, oh, like how are the bagels? I want a new bagel place to discover, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was like half restaurant grill bar and half like brunch like farmer's marketplace. Interestingly enough, I thought it was going to be in a part of town that I'd never been to before, but I was like, I've passed this place like hundreds of times, which is just so interesting how things can be on your peripheral, but it's also on the side of a road where I feel like I'm always scared to turn at. So it makes sense how I've never been there before. But I went there and I ended up getting like actually a breakfast sandwich, which you guys saw. The way the cheese pulled apart, the cashier was really helpful and nice, walking me through my choices and like what I could get. And I feel like they were probably really busy, or much busier in the morning, because when I called to inquire if they had like cinnamon raisin bagels, it sounded like mad crowded on the other end of the phone. But I feel like this was like more like late, early afternoon, and so they were more like, oh yeah, we have all the time in the world right now to answer your questions. So I got a sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich with the apple cinnamon raisin. I would feel like the next time I go there, I would love to just get it with like toasted with butter, because there's nothing more I love than a bagel toasted with butter. But this was really delicious and filling, which is what I needed. At that point, it's like late 3-ish, heading towards like 4 o'clock. At that point, I realized I needed to make a return about something not bookish related. I just needed to return. If you guys go on my TikTok, there's a couple, like 1 or 2 videos where I'm talking into like a little mic. I got it from Five Below, and sometimes I just like to get things more often than not like in person, as opposed to having to like buy things online and go through the shipping of it all. The quality feedback, that's why I say go to my TikTok and listen to those videos. You'll be like, oh my god, Diva, you sound like you're under friggin' water. And at first I tried to like assuage myself. I was like, no, Diva, it's not that bad. Anytime I listen to it, I'm like, Diva, this sounds like it's just like not good. The audio is, this sounds like Diva, like the audio is so crunchy. So I returned it, got my money back. I wish like the feedback was better too, because it was such an easy find. It was such an easy setup, to be so for real. But I'm looking into other options, because I love those videos where people have like the tiny mic and they're talking into it. It just feels so fun. And I also just love the audio quality of like blocking out other sounds sometimes, because sometimes I want to talk to the camera and I can hear like the trash being picked up, and I'm like, no. So that's what we were doing for like an hour. And then, because, and parts of this is going to be in another video, so stay tuned. Spring cleaning, time to get rid of the old, bring in the new, just getting rid of things that like no longer serve you. And that's what I'm doing with like a lot of my clothes. As such, I need some summer and spring clothes. And so we went thrifting to a couple of places. You know the thing about me, as I'm going clothes thrifting, which there's going to be a haul, so, and I think I got some cute pieces, so don't go anywhere too far. You know, anytime I'm going thrifting, I am also going book thrifting low-key. I'm always just gonna find myself in like the book aisle to just look and see like, hey, what's here? So at the last one we went to, I found all those Emily Henry books, and I was like, what's going on? Because the thing is, like, I saw one, and then I looked again and I saw another, and then I looked again and I saw another, and I was like, am I deceiving me? But I guess somebody, when things like that happen, I feel like somebody got rid of their collection like at the whole time, or at least the ones maybe they no longer serve them. Interesting too, because they're the UK covers, and that's why I was also confused when I first spotted them, because I was like, that title looks familiar. Oh, that's People Who Went on Vacation. Why does it look like that? But it's not the US covers. That's so interesting too, timing wise, because I've been thinking of reading People Who Went on Vacation, because, you know, summer is coming up. It just feels like the time. If you guys have been here for a minute, or you know me, you know that I have a mixed bag relationship with like Emily Henry's work, in the sense that I read Beach Read, which feels now like a long time ago, to be honest. I did not enjoy it, because the thing about Beach Read is, going into it, when I read it, I recognized that I had fairly, like, I think I had like decently high expectations of it because of how acclaimed it had been at that point. And so when I walked away from it just feeling like that I was pretty middling about it, I was like, oh, is it just that it didn't meet your really high expectations, or that there were aspects of it that you didn't enjoy? And I was like, oh, there were aspects of it that I didn't enjoy that outweighed the bright spots about it. Like January's relationship with her father, I did enjoy. The romance, which was the more overarching piece of it for me, left a lot to be desired, in my opinion. And then I read Funny Story this past summer, and I did enjoy it, which that experience is on here, so shameless plug, you can go watch that. But very two ends of the spectrum, but I could go into that like another time. So People Who Went on Vacation, especially since the movie is coming out, to be honest, I'm like, I know the bare bones of the story, but I'm still like curious. I'm still curious. And so I was like, the book was also like 99 cents. See, that's the great thing about thrifting. I compared it against like other books on my bookshelf, because I've never bought a book particularly like from the UK. I know there's like Waterstones, I believe, and like Blackwell's, I want to say, which are the popular book retailers in the UK that people buy for different covers, but I've never done that before. I compared it to like a US copy of a book that I have, and the US copy ones are so much more floppy, whereas this one is like more, it's compact. It doesn't have like much give to it, which is like not really like a good or bad thing. I guess I won't be able to really tell until I'm like sitting down and like reading it if it affects my physical experience with it, but it was just interesting because as I was like, you know, like putting it on the bookshelf and like cleaning it, I was like, why do I feel like you're not moving like you're supposed to? So it felt like all in a day's work because I wasn't expecting to find those copies at the end. And you know, of course, like when I find a good find while book thrifting, I'm always like, and you know, like my younger sister was like, "Oh my god, like Diva, you found something," and I was like, "Yeah." You don't know why this is like so cool, but thank you for the excitement. And so stay tuned for my experience with that read because as summer approaches, there are a couple summer romances, to be honest, that I feel like summer is the one romance where I don't have to read it during the summer, but I do actually like reading it during the season and like a little bit before. There's something which is actually interesting because that's directly opposed to like winter and Christmassy romances. There's something about it that just feels too on the nose during the season. I can never find myself like really enjoying holiday romances. And that's something I don't necessarily like want to change, but I am interested to see like, Diva, have you just not read a holiday or like Christmas romance that has really like caught your attention or you really enjoyed? Because every time I read one, I'm always just like, I hate to like overuse the word cringe because I feel like that's overused so much in regards to the romance genre like lately. But there's just something about it that just feels so on the nose. Holiday romances are also ones that really, Christmas ones in particular, that are really in love with like insta love. I don't hate insta love and insta lust, but it has to be executed in a way that feels even like bare minimum realistic. And I think a lot of books like skip the hurdle in that. They just want you to believe, yeah, these people are really attracted to each other. Okay, but like, give me just a little bit of you tried to make me believe in this. So there's that. But yeah, all in a bookish day's work. And so now I have to edit some footage of some YouTube videos that you guys are going to be seeing on your timeline before I upload this one, of course. But all in a good day's work. I feel like I didn't know where this day was going to take me because at the beginning it was so muggy and I went out in like the sweater and the boots you guys saw, and then by like the middle of the library festival I was like, I want to take this off so bad, but then I couldn't. So I didn't really know where the day was going to take me, and it's so annoying when during the week the weather is like spectacular when you have to go to work, and then during the weekend it's like shit to be so for real. And I know we're going through a transitionary period, so like spring, I don't hate you too much. It's actually a season that's like grown on me. Still bottom of the totem pole, but it's grown on me. But this is just me getting away from myself now because I'm kind of tired. So I hope you guys join me tomorrow where I should be doing some cleaning and getting my hair done. But I also may start my reading of a new book that I was able to get on my Kindle recently. And so, you know, just like this day kind of just like took itself where it was going to take itself. Like I had like one thing I knew for sure I was going to do, and then it just like, woo, that's also what tomorrow is going to be. And so, yeah, guys, this has been fun. Don't go nowhere. Okay, guys, this isn't gonna be so much as like spend the day with me as it was like yesterday, as like a run through because it's the afternoon and I got a lot of things done last night into like this later afternoon. I did my hair. Do you guys see it? Do you like it? I'm in love with it. It took a lot of packs of hair, but it was super fun. Look at the side. I've never done like kind of like a side part like this before, so I'm very much in love. The hair is one that gets easily tangled, so like this is gonna be a hairstyle that I feel like needs a lot of maintenance, but like I've never done kind of like Marley Cuban twists, which these are over my hair, and so there were also like a lot of like little snafus we ran into. Like at first I got like blondish hair, just this color at the end, but then we were like, my hair is more of like an ombre, and so then first we got black, and then we got like the black and the blonde. It's a whole thing, but thank you, Mom. It came out amazing. While I was doing that, I was editing my thumbnail, which that video should be up by now, so kisses, go watch it. I go a little free library hunting, which was fun just to like explore my community. And I think that's the fun thing about like discovering free little libraries outside of course like seeing the new books there, is just like finding different pockets of like places I didn't know existed around the area that I live in. So there's that. But also what kind of threw me off today from like really documenting step by step is I was reading Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, which I tried to read Part of Your World a couple months ago. It feels like so long ago, I'm not gonna lie at this point. And I remember not much about the plot, to be so for real, but something about the writing just wasn't meshing with me. I didn't get too far into it. I want to say maybe like 4 chapters. It's also duo POV first person. I remembered that though, and guys, I feel like they're really trying to push. They're really trying to push the duo POV first person agenda in romance. Everybody loves it for some reason. Well, not for some reason. Reasoning is subjective. But like everybody really loves it, and I can't stand it. When it's third person, doesn't really bother me as much, but it feels like when it's first person, so in romance, like it feels like so little is like left to the imagination. That's another conversation. That's basically all to say though. I took my opinion with a grain of salt because I was like, okay, I already am not really in love with like this formatting, so like maybe I'm not giving the book enough of a chance. And so I picked up Sail Remember Me. I feel like maybe I said Just for the Summer. I didn't mean Just for the Summer. I picked up Sail Remember Me, which is her most recent release, and you guys already know how I feel about pop culture references, so I really don't feel like I need to like beat a dead horse with this. If you want to see me talk about it too, you can like go to my TikTok. But there were so many, which this is something I feel like I've been seeing happen with like more and more, not just with like a romance book, but like literary fiction, general fiction of some of the books that I'm reading. Just like the beginning will be inundated with really on the nose modern pop culture references. And I say this in particular because people were saying like, oh, did you not expect this from a contemporary romance? Like this is what contemporary romance means, or like contemporary in general. And I was like, I don't think that's exactly what that means. There's a book being modern. Not every book has to be incredibly timeless. I don't expect all books to be timeless, but there's timeless, and then there's mentioning the Night Court and like references to Akatar within the first couple pages. That was just so crazy to me. And it wasn't only the pop culture references though. Pop culture references play into kind of what I'm going to talk about though, which is that they're usually being utilized as like a tool for humor. Usually kind of like bathroom humor that like never works for me. It's usually indicative of the kind of humor that's going to continue in the rest of the book, and I just never vibe with it. I just find this so funny because I DNF'd that, and then I got an email from my library saying that like Just for the Summer was, my hold was ready from a couple of weeks ago that I put in because it's available nowhere because like summer is approaching, and I've wanted to read like more summer romances. But that's it. That was my rant. I feel like I was talking really fast at the end. But I hope you guys enjoyed spending a lot of time with me yesterday because I couldn't really carry you guys through me with the day today. I know I really know I said I was going to, but I just couldn't. It just ended up being like so unexpectedly hectic as I was getting my hair done in particular. Guys, sorry, she's eating. Interestingly enough, I really was not a fan of the summer when I was younger. I mean, when I was young, like I loved like camp, things like that. When it came to like going to the beach in particular, I used to get the sand all up in my hair. Like I really did not care for it. And now I want to be at the beach like I want to be in the water like every single day. Like, and the temperatures are reaching like 80 degrees. And so to you, to myself, I'm saying, guys, we are going to be outside this summer. We're going to be reading. We're going to be traveling. We're going to be having fun. So, hope this was fun. This was fun for me, fun for you guys. Bye.